Welcome everybody to On a Date Kind of Nervous podcast, and welcome to 2025.
2025. Oh, mine a little lamp.
A little lamp. Make it hard. Ooh, make it other way.
Oh. Well, all right.
It's still limp.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year's daters. So we're going to take a celebratory shot. Welcoming in 2025. I just want to say that thank you to our daters for holding us down in 2024. 2024 was the year that we launched On a Date Kind of Nervous podcast. It's been an amazing year, over 500,000 views across several different platforms.
I know that's right.
We are so grateful. Right. Cheers to 2025.
Cheers.
Being the best year yet for all of us in terms of love, happiness, wealth.
Yes.
Baby, because the money gonna be right.
Amen.
The men gonna act right.
We gonna pray about it.
Everything is gonna be right.
We gonna pray about it.
Cheers, girls. Cheers.
And I just want to say for the record, this was not on my rider. I was forced.
Okay. Samesies. Beyonce, that's your drink, girl. Give us sponsorship. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, B. It was good, wasn't it?
It was good. It was cute.
It's sitting on me. I'm excited.
Well, that's the question. We're gonna talk about sitting, baby. Nathan, tell us about our sponsor.
Yes, today our sponsor is In the Meantime Men's Group. In the Meantime Men's Group, Inc. is proposed to enrich, empower, and extend the lives of intergenerational Black men respectful of sexual orientation through social, educational, health, and wellness programs and services. Thank you so much. In the meantime.
Thank you.
I like my white lady voice.
It is.
Whatever you were selling, I'm buying it.
Okay.
So today's episode, we're going to be talking about the term fat and femmes.
No, who's a fat and femme in this room? I don't recognize that.
But we're going to talk about that term and then what it means in our community, the good, bad, and the indifferent. But before we jump into that, we want to get to know you two a lot better. So the first question is, what is your relationship status? Vance, we'll start with you.
Yes, come on, Vance. I am single and ready to mingle sometimes.
Sometimes. Wait a minute. We just threw it to you. Vance, who are you? To let the girls know who you are.
I'm Vance Gamble. I'm a stylist here. Give us a little more. Greater Los Angeles. A creative of many hats. And I work in fashion.
And originally from?
I am originally from Hartford, Connecticut.
Zodiac sign?
Cancer, body shape, like a dancer.
Absolutely.
Ryan, tell the people who you are.
Hi, I'm Ryan, or aka the SlayGawd. You might know me from Instagram. Right. I'm a journalist. I've worked at MTV. I've worked in radio. I'm also a curator. I'm the NFL's first LGBTQ brand ambassador. So I've been doing some really cool stuff with them. And honestly, I'm just a bad bitch that you probably just want to know.
Period.
I think that's just a big dot.
I love when the dolls come and visit.
Yeah,
so
right? Zodiac sign.
This explains why I just said this. I'm a Leo.
Big Leo energy.
I'm a Leo, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Ooh.
Southern boy.
All right, so back to relationship statuses.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
Single. Ryan, what are you?
I am,
Okay.
That's exactly what I am.
Okay.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about
I'm single for sure.
Okay.
But I'm also like,
Yeah.
Okay.
do I even want to entertain it? Do I even want to change it? I'm
Okay, so before we get into, because hopefully in 2025, you know, that changes for, you know, all of us. But use one word to describe your dating life in 2024. You first, man.
What? I need a second to think. It's okay.
It's crazy because I'm kind of thinking of my sex life and I'm like exciting.
Wait, so are we talking about sex life or dating life?
Dating life.
I took it to sex.
Wait, we can do both.
I took it to sex.
So, Ryan is such a host. I love it.
Dating life? No. It's the word that comes to mind.
No.
Okay. What about you?
It was... I'm indifferent. That's what I'm gonna use the word indifferent.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say my dating life in 2024 was busy.
Oh yeah, it really
Period.
was.
Oh yeah, now that I think about it.
Wait a minute, lady.
I was going through the men with her. It was very busy.
Now that I
It was a
think
roller
about it,
It was
coaster.
very busy.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
You know some tea, yeah.
Must be nice.
Mhm.
It was great.
I think my word would be complicated.
Okay.
Because I find I like to sit in. I find myself always in a gray area situation. I gotta work on it. It might be me, but for sure.
Yeah.
And then one word to describe your sex life.
Oh, exciting! I did that. That's always gonna happen.
Yeah. I would say my sex life in 2024 was versatile.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
My sex life was fun, and it's always fun because I have a good time.
My sex life was choosy.
Choosy.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love
I like that one.
Okay, so Ryan, you first. If you had to describe your or fill out a dating app profile, what would be 3 things that you'll put on there?
Ooh, I think like about myself or like what I'm expecting from others.
Well, anything that you would like include, like 3 things that you think that is important to include.
I think it's important to include that I am passionate about the work that I do, and I want you to be as well. About whatever work you do. I think I would also include, I don't know, like, I don't know. This is actually really interesting. I probably would also include I'm a bottom because, hey, I know I might take masculine photos. I might not smile in my photo, but please, I'm not climbing your back. Like, please get over it.
I think that's a very important thing. Get it out the way early.
Yeah, right?
Get it out the way early.
I don't understand why people wait so long to have that conversation.
Yeah, what's the problem?
But even
I
like
have
in
a
the
couple
swiping
ideas,
of
but-
it all, I think sometimes when I'm on dating apps, I'd be like, okay, so is the algorithm a mess? Because what makes you actually think?
You actually don't even have to put your bottom. Just put the down arrow.
Yeah, the down
Yeah.
arrow. I
Smart,
love all
you
the
know?
arrows. I like pointing
And then
everywhere.
one more.
I would also say I would ask maybe what would they recommend where would they recommend to go for like traveling?
Okay.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
That's
a good conversation.
That is a good
conversation
conversation
starter. What about you,
You know?
Vance?
I think the first and foremost thing that I would put on there is that I'm a creative being
Okay.
Yeah.
to the core because, you know, creatives, it takes a lot to date creatives. You got to kind of know what you're getting into from the gate, right? I would probably put my sexual position, which I'm a bottom.
Oh, so excited. This feels like a wonderful
I am in a room full of bottoms. How exciting.
Right, and you've just trans.
Girl. And what else, baby? Go ahead.
The
We listen
sequences.
we listen and we don't judge.
I can be versed on a good day if I want to.
Period. Get your life.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the third thing I would say. Wait, is the third thing a question or a third statement?
Whatever you want it to be.
Whatever you would like to say. The 3 statements that you would like to, or your something about yourself. Then.
Better get me while I'm hot.
Period.
You ate that. Is that a tagline?
Yeah, that would be like a.
God, yeah.
you know,
Get me
Here
while
for
I'm
a good
hot.
time, not a long time. That's my favorite thing to say.
Period.
That's good too. That's good
Period.
So I think all of us have lived in LA for quite some time.
Yes.
So talk about briefly, how has your dating experience been in LA, and then how long have you been in LA?
I've been here going on 5 years, and my dating experience has been kind of rocky. Moving from New York, my dating experience was amazing. It was beautiful. It was great. I enjoyed it. It was
Colorful.
I
That's
enjoyed
Robin.
I enjoyed how colorful it was.
Yeah.
Here, it's giving a very slate gray,
Mhm.
a very beige or pewter.
Right.
Those are interesting
Those feels like
Those
colors
are-
I
yeah,
recognize.
colors on the
And
color
you know,
palette.
it's like when you think it's an exciting color, once you finally get up close, it's very dull.
Yeah.
And it's like the same monotonous color over and over again.
That's real.
Which I'm trying to figure out what that is because a lot of people that I know have the same experience.
It's not us, it's them.
Yeah, and I feel like we live in a very copy and paste world out here.
Agreed.
It's like trying to be something they've seen or replicating. And so it kind of makes sense why it's all one thing.
Not exciting.
And not open to like seeing anything other than that, right?
Yeah.
Everyone kind of wants to just be, I guess, the acceptable version of themselves just so they can get chose.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you sacrificing?
Right.
Exactly.
But I think for me, so I've been here for next year will be my 10th. I guess we're in the year of it being my 10th year.
It's a decade in Los Angeles.
Kind of insane.
Yeah.
I came in LA like in a relationship that was a little rocky, like from college, and we moved out here together. And so after that, like after we were basically together for 5 years, I for sure had situationships and was dating. And before you ask, because I know you're probably typing it, I've only dated one white person. And it's
do I know your ex?
No. Okay. Oh my God, no one does.
Okay.
And honestly,
Is he still here?
No, they live in Seattle now.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, and that was the last time. And so, yeah, I think for me, dating has been where I've gotten into like very organic moments with folks and like had the best time. And I think they taught me about what I really want. But they were all some form of a gray area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think after being here for 8 years, I think I've watched so many people evolve.
Yeah.
Even within like their dating lives. You know, I've watched people date different types of people because I feel like you have some people who are like serial daters.
For sure.
You know, or in serial relationship oriented people. So you see them in like a variety of different relationships. I'm sure you being here 10 years, you've seen some of the girls in 5, 6, 7 relationships.
Oh, for
I know
sure.
I have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I've also seen like their types and stuff change.
Yeah, I feel like people adjust their types a lot.
I know I have.
Coming here because I feel like the quality of men are kind of different.
Yeah.
So it's in terms of looks and personality and everything.
Yeah,
so
100%.
it depends on what you like. But that's a good segue because we want to talk about types. What are your types, and do you think that your types like you back?
I want to hear. You just said something that was kind of good. You said that you changed your type.
Yeah.
So
for
let's
sure.
talk about like what your type was, and then like what it is now.
Yeah. So when I first started, I like thick men. I like big men.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated obese men also. Men that are not fit, they're obese.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved here, I found that a lot of skinnier guys were into me.
Okay.
Which in my mind, I was like, oh boy, I'll break your collarbone. I'll break it. I'll break your hip. You know what I'm saying?
collarbone.
Like, oh,
You would be surprised.
I'm like, security.
And so honestly, I had to kind of open my horizons, I guess, and broaden my viewpoint on what I thought was attractive or what I thought was attractive for me.
Yeah.
And so I've definitely dated slimmer guys since I've been here in these 5 years. But I still like my thick boys. Thank you. I love you.
That's great.
Love you down.
Taking notes of that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I feel like it's very cliche when people say they don't have a type, but literally everyone I've ever like messed around with, from thick men to, like I said, that one white person, and then like tall, lanky, skinny guys. Like literally it's been like the gamut. But I think my type is a beard, bald, arms.
Y'all fighting for the same type.
Talk to me after the show,
Just
girl.
very like football coded. So they don't necessarily have to be like fit, but like they just have like very broad shoulders.
Love.
I really enjoy that. Cause I'm a dainty girl.
Period.
And I love that.
So small
And so it hasn't really changed because I think no matter what and all the controversial hot takes of like any type of dating Black queer folks do, I'm going to be with someone who fucking loves me, regardless if they're a Sam or a John or a Zach.
Absolutely.
Like if they're respecting me and they understand me, guess what? They get the key to this.
Absolutely.
This
Punani.
Yeah. So talking about like your type, like you talked about the physical, but like what is like the mental? With both of you being creatives, I feel like we have to be with a certain type of person that is a cheerleader, that is supportive, that is nurturing, because there are moments in our crafts where we hear way more no's than we hear yeses.
Yeah.
So like what is that like personality type that y'all have to be with?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think I'm still actively trying to figure that out because I think as my career over this like 10 years that I've been here, I've done different things and it's shifted me in a very quick way. And I think I was finding in real time the folks that I were dating were getting very intimidated by the fact that like maybe they didn't have as much going on, but they were like, fuck, I'm watching you. I can cuss. We just took a shot, of course. I feel like they just questioned a lot. And I just found myself being like, well, I don't want to dim who I am just to like find my thing. But I think sometimes I can understand why someone would, because they want that connection. They're like, it's the ghetto. It's the like the trash can out in the streets. If I find someone, I want to like stay in it. But like over time, I've realized I can't do that. And so I need someone who has like.
Have you ever felt like somebody was like attaching themselves to you, both of you, like because of who you are and who you're connected to and the career trajectory?
100%. To answer your first question, I think that for me, I don't really know exactly the type of support that I need from my partner. I do know that whoever I end up with has to see me. If that makes sense. That's the biggest, the first and foremost for me.
Can I ask you, what does seeing you look like?
Just understanding the ins and outs of who Vance is. I can get a little crazy.
You're Cancer,
yes,
of course.
I'm passionate.
Crazy down.
All grudges down.
Oh, baby. She probably still got 3 people she got grudges with from 98, okay?
We ain't never making up.
Okay. If you got beef for me, we got beef.
Forever. And that's all right. It is what it is. But I think that I need for my man to see my heart and to see my spirit and to see the emotions that I carry throughout my day-to-day.
Right.
To answer the second part of your question, because of who I've worked with, people have been attaching themselves or trying to attach themselves to me for the last 10 years in my career. I think the important thing for me is that I've developed kind of like a spirit of discernment, and I wasn't as insecure as I was 10 years ago, and I wasn't as naive as I was 10 years ago. So I've kind of built like this layer of decipher between the bullshit and people who actually see me or are interested in seeing me.
That's good. That's
interesting. I love to hear that from you, friend. That's so cute. Okay, so I have one question before we like kind of like segue to our topic. What do you guys think is the most attractive thing a man can do for you?
Oh, God. Honestly, I feel like the most attractive a man can probably do for me is when I'm not being completely honest about something going on with me, them knowing that something's going on and they like actually investigate it a little bit more. Like they kind of create more space for me to be like, okay, I don't have to actually hold this. I can allow you to like hold this as well. Cause I'm an only child. I'm like, I have siblings on my dad's side, sorry y'all. But I'm an only child, I was raised as an only child.
Right.
And I just am so independent.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to allow anyone kind of to like be a part of my world. And it takes a minute.
Yeah.
And so anyone to do that, I think is like the most attractive thing. I'm like, okay, you get me.
I think the most attractive thing a man can actually do for me is be interested in my world. Kind of similar, piggybacking off of what you said.
Yeah.
Be interested in not who I work with, but what I do. And who I am outside of my work. Just being interested and attached to possibly creating a life with me as opposed to being attached to me. Right. And that's through various things and like, you know, being around, being present, asking questions, probing questions to know more. But yeah, that's probably the most.
I would say like for me, I feel like allowing me to be vulnerable because I feel like I'm one of those type of people. I'm always allowing people to be vulnerable with me, but like when it's not always reciprocated because I'm always the shoulder everybody cries on. But rarely do I have that shoulder to cry on.
You're the strong friend.
Yeah, I'm the strong friend. So that, and I'm a Taurus. So feed me. You feed me.
That's real.
I'm gonna show you a good time.
I think the most attractive thing a man can do for me is to get me to speak, because I have this wonderful way of letting people talk and getting conversation out of people. And I love when a man can hear me and reiterate things to me that I've said just in passing in conversation.
That's good.
And then he's like, oh, Even for example, like I was talking to somebody and he was like, he watches the podcast. And I said, tell me a few things that you liked. And he gave me a rundown of what he liked.
I like
recommendations.
Oh, I remember.
I would have ripped, like I was ready to take off all of my fucking clothes.
That's so wonderful.
In trunks.
I just have surprised the clothes weren't off in trunks.
But I think that that's such a beautiful thing to me because I often find like people just love to talk about themselves.
Yes.
And I love to let people talk about themselves. But I once in a while I want to hear, take interest in me. It's cute.
Yeah, you are a good listener. You are a good listener.
That's because I'm nosy.
Yeah.
But girl, you collecting bones.
You be talking now.
Collecting bones.
So let's go ahead and shift into our topic for today. So we're going to talk about like fatphobia and femmephobia within the Black gay community. So our first question for you guys is like, how do you define the term no fat, no femmes? And do you feel like that term is offensive to people that are oversized and to people that are feminine?
You can say fat, by the way. I don't find it to be a slur. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you,
either.
but I don't find fat to be a slur. I think it's actually, for me, over time, and as I've learned to love my body and learned to like show up in the beautiful way that I do in every room, it's actually a superpower for me.
I'm glad you said that because I have a hard time with two words, fat and ugly. I don't like to say those words. So I like to use other things like plus size or unattractive.
Which
those are just
I get
things
why.
like, I don't
They're
like those
sensitive
words. Yeah, they're very sensitive words, but also they don't feel good to me at least.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vance. You can answer the question first.
That phrase was super triggering for me growing up. It was actually one of the first like little prerequisites when we used to get on Adam for Adam, BGC.
And y'all girls on that coast, y'all was on that for when y'all was 12.
I remember.
Well, no. Let's rewind. I didn't get
slow down.
I was never Adam for Adam.
The Midwest girls take so long to grow up.
I didn't hear about that till I was 19.
I didn't get on that. Me too.
Please, girl. Oh, wow.
I didn't get on that until I got to college, and all the girls were had years of messages.
I was young on that. I lied for sure to be on that.
I didn't know what the hell that shit was.
Honestly, the first time I heard it, I was probably like teenage, like 13, 14.
When you were on the site?
Yeah, or like
I was on BGC at 16, 17.
Who were you talking to?
I wasn't really talking to anyone.
Man.
I wasn't really talking to anyone. I was actually so into the erotica and the stories.
The books were fast.
Oh my God.
The stories were fast.
Yeah, that's when I learned I could masturbate to anything.
Because they used to have like they used to have like forum boards on there.
Yes, and like people would write stories.
I feel so left out. I didn't know nothing about
such a young girl.
You didn't get on the websites?
No.
At all?
I found my first like gay relationship on MySpace.
That's cute.
And then I was with him for like until I was like
that sounds like a skinny love story.
So I was never on like any of those apps. You know what I'm saying? Like
what
the first
nice boy.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? How did that phrase make you feel?
I think like Vance said, it was one of those like phrases that I think I realized, oh, I'm different. Even in a world where I felt like, because I grew up very Southern and religious, and like I was in very like queer community at a very young age, right? Like my first queer friends was like a Black trans woman who I was sneaking into like the gay club at 16 and like kind of experiencing that. And then I realized when they said like, oh, we have someone for you. He likes the big boys. And I was like, work, that means there's only a certain type of person who likes me. And that's something that I was immediately kind of like realizing, being like, oh, this means I'm different. I'm already at a deficit.
It's so interesting that you're saying that because I shared a similar experience. Like I said, the first time I saw that was on, the websites and like no fats, no femmes. That was like the first prerequisite before we could even see a nigga's face, honestly.
Literally. Honestly, sometimes I didn't care.
But the thing about it is, I first started getting introduced to the scene and the lifestyle and chat lines when I was in college. And my other friends were like experienced. They knew the chat lines, they knew the websites, everything. And so as I started seeing a lot of no fats, no femmes, because honestly, I wasn't as big as I am now when I was 17, 18 years old, right? And then I started to realize, oh, you're the no fats, no femmes that they're talking about. Because remember at that time, a lot of the girls were like, masculine presenting. Everyone wanted to be like
everybody was
hood
in that
boy.
space.
Everybody wanted to be
oversized,
oversized,
tall tees.
Exactly. So even if you were a femme girl voguing down, you know what I'm saying, or a bottom at that time,
that wasn't your
presented yourself as a masculine straight boy.
How was that realization for your mental health to know that you were othered on a platform like that?
I don't even think I had the language at that time, right? Like, and also, if I'm being honest, I'm like I said, I'm from the South. I feel like I always said, like, I feel like my husband's in the South. Like, I think there's more of an opening to experience all type of...
I'm trying to.
You can have the LA man. We going scouting.
There's just more opening to, like, finding someone who's, like, accepting you for you in all the, like, facets. And I didn't feel like fetishized or, like, chased necessarily, right? Yeah. And so... I don't know if I necessarily had the language, but I do think it messed up the ways that I viewed my worth and connecting it to like wanting to be loved because it was only sexualized. Right. That was the only time that I was kind of getting attention when someone wanted to blow my back out kind of thing. And so like getting in a relationship, it kind of like I questioned if that person really liked me, especially if they were like looking at porn and it didn't look like me.
Yeah. Speaking from like the feminine perspective, I feel like I had to suppress my femininity. When I leave,
I feel like we all did.
But I feel like I can't do that. I'm in The Sopranos. My voice is literally high as fuck.
But I feel like when I lived back home, I feel like I had to. I feel like once I moved to Atlanta at 2021, I feel like, when I went to the clubs there, the girls were in heels and they were like very free.
Turning it.
We at Waffle House, a girl got her heels on, her jeans, and having a good time.
That's because you saw yourself. You had, not necessarily them, but you had identity.
But I feel like Atlanta allowed a lot of people in our generation to step into their femininity.
It was liberating.
It was very liberating.
That's a great word.
And then also, I feel like the men there
were into it.
We're into the femme girls there, like heavy.
Actually, Atlanta was the first time where, because I spent my 21st birthday there, and it was the first time I actually went to a club and got hit on. And I was like,
shout out to Traps, Atlanta Live. Shout out to Atlanta Live.
708 Chaparral, baby.
Atlanta is a different beast on its own because there's so many different types of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just don't understand why people, there's so many single people in Atlanta. I don't understand.
Well, I think the singleness that's attached to Atlanta is because people do like the variety and people do like the options. Yeah. And there's so many options there. And I think when it comes to dating, people don't want to settle down with just one person because they feel like, well, I can have this person and then this person. I got this person. So I think that's what it is.
I want to hear you guys' perspective on this. Like, how do you guys feel like body image like really influences dating experiences within the Black community specifically? Like just in terms of like who gets chosen, who does not. Like, how do you guys feel about that?
I think, and this is a little bit rewinding back to where we just came from, but when I first started realizing like, the girls want masculine boys or boys that dress like, hood niggas, I wasn't into that. And I kind of started using fashion as a defense mechanism, honestly. I was like, I'm not like those girls, but I'm going to dress down and I'm going to be fab.
Yes.
And they're not going to have a choice but to
live.
Love.
Yes, that's exactly.
You going to compliment me.
Absolutely. I'm going to look better than the straights.
Single time.
I'm going to look better than the skinnies. I'm going to look better than the fat boys. I'm going to be the best dressed on my yard.
Yes.
And so eventually, thank God, it turned into my vessel of like creating my art. But at first, fashion was my defense mechanism.
Wow.
And so I just told myself, you're going to be the best dressed and you're going to have the best image on the yard, even though you're fat and femme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm still like that, but it's turned from my defense to my expressionism. You know what I mean? It's kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
How about you, Ryan?
No, I totally, you hit so many things that I relate to, especially like using fashion as like this protest, because I think there's so many expectations of a fatter body of like entering into a space. And one, it's because of accessibility, right? They're not making clothes in our sizes. So you have to be creative. And only the girls who are really into it are doing that.
100%.
And so it's like building this like whole kind of like stereotype of like, people with fat bodies don't care about their appearance. And I think for me, it was one of those things where I still am trying to figure, honestly, I forgot the question. I totally forgot.
It's
I was
okay.
like talking and I totally
I was
forgot.
just saying, like, how do you feel like body image has like influences the Black gay community?
Work. I think for me, it's one of those things when I think about how it's in the conversation around bodies in the Black queer community happens is like when I see online, like on X or now Blue Sky, everyone's celebrating one body type.
Yeah.
Or they're following one body type because they're muscled. Or
You think
like
it's
they
performative,
look,
don't you?
I most definitely do. And it's I think the
Same.
conversation around attaching it to like the excuse being preferences is kind of a cop-out.
Yeah.
Because you can't in one breath complain that there's nobody out there for you when you're cutting off half of the ability to really connect with someone off of this like just superficial perspective.
I went on a date with a guy recently, and we were talking about like body type and body image. And he said something to me that was kind of funny, but he was like, I like my men to have tiger stripes. And I'm like, what is
stretch marks?
Stretch mark. Yes. What did he say? I was like, oh,
yes.
She got him. Because I got tiger stripes.
Notice
That's
most
wrong.
times is that Black people, we love people we love bigger people, just or like anyone that is not skinny. And I feel like those kind of bodies in reality are celebrated. I think when you get online and you get on these apps, people talk about what they really want, but I don't think they live in those spaces in actuality.
They don't. I've had so many over the years, since the no fat, no femme era, I've had so many boys in secrecy holler at me. The same boys that have those prerequisites of what they don't like and I am, they've hollered at me in the dark.
Because nobody's going to deny it.
Well, I feel like this too. Sometimes it's like based on friend circle. Like sometimes they don't want their friends to know that they like a particular type of guy or they like a particular type of
because it's
body
shunned.
type. Yes, because it's shunned.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this.
Insane.
Which is crazy. So on dating apps, a lot of times people will have that no fats, no femmes.
They still have that right now.
That's crazy. That in 2025.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's exactly.
Insane.
So how do you think that makes other people feel? And like in seeing that, you know, how did that make you feel back then and now?
I think for me, it's one of those things where like when you're putting it deliberately in your bio, it's automatically a red flag for me, right? It's one of those things where I'm like, so you didn't actually have to say this. You didn't have to actually put that out there. If someone hits you up and you're not attracted to them, either say thanks, but no thanks, or don't respond. And I think it's like, I think that's something that we're kind of taught. And also kind of like a lot of people's internalized fat phobia or like just fat phobia in general of like, they know that their body's supposed to be this way. This is what they've been taught. This is what they've been like seen through media or whatever. It's supposed to be this way. Anyone other in that, it's not for me. It's wrong. I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want to be in connection to it. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, at this point in time, honestly, I'm the type of person where I'm like, if you like someone who is thick, hit me up. But also I have discernment because I don't want you to be a chaser and like fetishize my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't feel good. I just want someone who wants me for me.
Exactly.
I think for me, it really pisses me off. I didn't even know that was still a thing that people are still writing on.
Oh, absolutely.
I haven't been on the apps in a long time. But
I mean, it's the ghetto out there. Don't even. Let me look who's 5 feet away.
Right, 0.2.
I'm not on there. You won't find me on there. But it pisses me off because it's a twofold thing. It pisses me off because the fact that people are still living in those boundaries is really weird to me. But then again, I also think about the people who are seeing that because everyone's not as strong as you and I are. And and this is just over time.
Here. Yeah.
So I hurt for the people who see that, who may not necessarily have the same layer of skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it honestly, I don't have an issue with anyone having preferences. You don't like big fat boys, whatever, that's your deal. I don't like certain type of men either. My issue is you have the audacity to write your prerequisites on this thing as if you check all the boxes. You know what I mean? It's the entitlement and the. It just
when you guys were on the apps, how was your dating experience? Like, with dating or sex life experience?
I got it in when I was on the apps, but I got it in. I definitely was rejected a lot, obviously, and especially during that time, I was like, well, this is the time we live in, but. I also had a lot of boys that I went to college with that were on those apps that walked past me during the day and got on them damn computers at night and was messaging me. So my sex life was good. I definitely had a lot of variety. Yeah. Skinny boys, big boys, football, athletic, but it also it was a hurtful thing to have to navigate through.
Well, especially because if you are only kind of being accepted in a sexual manner, it's like, well, then is my body not worth being loved and being intimate with? And I think I also had that same experience where it was a lot of sex and it was like great and it was fulfilling something, right? Like I think at that time I was really wanting to like feel loved, worth and satisfied and I think that was fueling that. But I think but now it's just like, oh no. I need most of the time I meet anybody I meet that I'm like into it's in person. Like it naturally, organically happens.
Right. But remember also during those
addicted, that's why.
you have a good personality. I was gonna say, remember during those times, those apps were strictly for like fucking.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a
If you find a man on there, you were lucky.
But my thing is, I also think on the other side of it, those men who used to hit up girls like us knew that we probably were insecure and we probably didn't get no play.
It was predatory.
And they wanted to bust the nuts.
It was literally predatory.
I'm so glad that you guys talked about that. Because that's a big thing.
They probably knew girls like us don't get no play. All I gotta do is hit you up and you gonna suck this dick.
Oh,
and you ain't gotta see my face until I actually walk up on you. Right. You don't have to know my name. You're gonna want to fuck because I know you're not getting any play. Do you know what I mean?
I'm glad that you said that. I'm sorry to cut you off, Jay. I'm glad that y'all said that because I want to hear about the misconceptions of what they think that bigger girls are willing to do opposed to everybody else.
Yeah.
A lot. I've been not now. Not now. I think niggas know what time it is with me.
Yeah, same.
But growing up in my younger years, I think men thought I was desperate. And at one point in time, I was.
Yes.
If I'm being completely honest.
And that's why I was
at one point in time, I was desperate. And I would do anything just to feel like I was desired because my friends were smaller than me. They were getting so much play. They would go out, get numbers, come home. I would come home with nothing. So at that time, when I was younger, I was like, well, damn, let me just get in where I can fit in and get what I can get as I'm going. And I think men knew that during that time.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons why when I did get in a relationship, in college and out of college, it was one of the reasons why I kind of stayed because I felt like all that kind of experiences that I went through where I was just only being kind of like sexually used, it was like, oh my God, I'm in a relationship. Who else is going to want me after this if I don't have this thing? And so I ended up staying in a relationship where I got cheated on. And it just ended up like turning into something that was like, oh, I don't even recognize myself. Yeah. But if I'm being honest, if I didn't go through that, it literally helped me figure out so much in a real time where I was like, oh, I never connected that I just stayed here out of just like, security and just because it felt like it was a good thing, but it was actually disguised. And it was something that I should have probably never been in or cut it off way in the beginning.
I think from a feminine perspective, like in my younger years when, I would like really dress like, super femme.
Yeah.
I feel like there were times like I remember one situation where a guy texted me like, hey, I want to take you out, but can you wear something a little bit more, boyish? And to be honest, I went on a date and I did dress boyish.
But you were uncomfortable.
But I was uncomfortable because the whole time I'm thinking like, wow, you want me to be somebody that I'm really not. But at that young of an age, I was like, well, let me try it. Let me try to be whoever this person wants me to be because I really didn't know who I was. So I think there are a lot of times in certain situations to where whether you're fat, whether you're femme, whatever the case may be, the younger girls, I don't want them to have to think that they have to be anything other than who they are.
Oh, absolutely not.
I think when we talk about femininity, for me specifically, I was always comfortable. I just was always worried about my safety. It was always that was always a big deal for me. So regardless of how I wanted to express myself, I always had to consider, would this be a safe environment for me to be who I am?
Yeah.
I never felt like the femininity of who I was I never was afraid for my safety, which obviously I didn't start getting into the life until I was in college. So at that point I was like, oh, I'm free. I do what I want.
Yeah.
My shape is what I was always challenged with. My personality, I've always been like this. There was just no physical way that I could present myself other than who I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was just like, bitch, I'm fab. Like, I don't, you know?
Yeah, and I think even as of like last year, I was interrogating because I feel like in queer spaces, which is normally all that I'm in, I get deemed as like someone who is femme, and I'm like, is that because of my voice? Is it because I'll put on a cute pump real quick and like, or is it a fashion thing? I had to really kind of interrogate why people were saying that because I never once really identified with that. I think growing up in like at home, my mom was trying to put me in like Rockaware and FUBU and like, and I was
not
like,
for us, by us.
and I was like, no, like in South Pole, like, and so like I was like, I was fighting against that because I was like, no, actually take me to American Eagle because I'm actually saying I'm rejecting like that masculinity that you're trying to put on me, and so I guess I never really thought about it as like a femme person, but I think for me this last year I've been able to really interrogate that and come to terms being like, oh, I'm actually like non-binary and I go by he, they pronouns. And I'm actually so comfortable in it. And it's my decision. It's not because someone clocked me because they like heard me talk.
Right.
Like, right. It's like I'm in the control of it.
Why do y'all think, and we have to wrap this topic up really quick, but why do y'all think that masculinity is the more desired thing within the Black gay community?
Because, well, I think for some strange reason, we have wanted to mirror the heterosexual norms as opposed to just being free in the community that we are. And that's been like since the beginning of time, if you think about it. Like the DL lifestyle and just like mirroring a man and a woman has always kind of been our template. And I can't for the life of me understand why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have the answers.
I mean, I totally agree. And I also kind of think it's, maybe at first it was because of survival. It was to be safe and not like get the attention off. But I think now it's just putting us back in a box that we have to like break down and dismantle because it's not doing anything for us, right? Like it's actually stopping us from living a life that doesn't feel constrained.
Yeah. I feel like we need to, I'm very pro-gay and I love specifically Black gay men. And I just wish that we would get out of those binaries because we can really challenge and see things differently and set a tone for the younger generation that's coming out. I feel like we're still so stuck in this archaic idea of what a man should be or how we should present. And I think that if we were a little bit more forward-thinking and foreshadowing how we can be, it would be a better situation for those coming after us. You know?
Yeah, I 100% agree. So we're going to shift over to a game.
Okay.
Let's jump to a game.
Yes.
Tone switch.
Y'all got y'all code switch? We're going to have y'all back to like
really dive
into
talk about some things.
So grab your flags. flags.
Okay.
So wave your red flag if you are not into what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Wave your green flag if you're into what I'm going to say. Okay, you ready for the prompts?
I'm ready, baby.
Okay. Role play.
If I am.
Can we do this?
You're not in a role play?
It can't give you the
it gives this. Like,
but it's mostly.
It gives what?
It gives this. It really do give this. It depends on what you want me to be. Like,
yeah, it depends.
A schoolgirl. Like, I want you to be a UPS man.
No, I'm not doing that.
I want you to be a maintenance man.
Okay.
Oh, y'all meant
Come
literal.
in.
I just thought y'all were talking about like dominant and like.
Oh, no,
let's dress up.
Well, but also that too. Depends on
Depends on the character.
So yeah.
Sex toys.
By ourselves or with partner?
With a partner, yes. Alone, no. I don't have the time.
With the partner.
Masturbation for me is a means to an end. So
yeah, I'm gonna do this one. It just feels like a lot of work with the toy.
Yeah, but a man.
I do like them
alone.
Same.
Okay.
I like them. Yes.
Music during sex.
For sure.
No, one guy played Ariana Grande's album.
No! Which one?
And I could not stop Sweetener, and I could not stop singing.
That's
a pretty good. I could not stop singing.
So you were singing and taking it
like you better catch that beat.
Album to play.
Lights on during sex.
I'm okay with it. I'm a pretty girl.
I like mood lighting.
I'm okay with it. I'm a pretty girl. I don't fuck in the dark.
I like mood lighting.
Ass smacking.
Yeah. Beat it up, baby.
It's important.
Like what else?
Verbal during sex.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Call me
Very
a whore.
important.
Call me a whore.
Absolutely.
Call
Yes.
me a nasty black
And
whore.
Man scent.
Man scent.
Absolutely
Oh,
not. Take
no.
a shower. Scrub
It
your
depends.
balls.
What does
Like
it
what
depend
scent?
on?
What
Like-
kind of scent?
Like,
Off of 8-hour shifts.
no.
And doing what?
You ever
He a
smell a man-
lawyer.
You ever smell a
he's
man
going-
dick
so he wears
after
a
8-hour
nice suit.
shift?
So he's not doing too much on an 8
Yeah,
hour
he doing
shift.
too much.
No, but
Understood.
he's walking around the office
Yeah.
in a suit that's
And
in the
people,
summer.
some people perspire quicker than
Absolutely
others. No.
I will throw up.
No man said red. Absolutely
I'll recommend
not.
you.
No.
Body hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
I like
I'm
her
okay
hair.
with it.
I don't-
Swallowing.
Swallowing what?
Come.
Okay, I thought this was a classy one.
I thought it was-
So I'm gonna do.
Why not? Y'all are children
mean,
if you
what
spit
kind
it
of-
out. Come on.
No,
My stomach hurt. Uncut penis.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is
I didn't-
so. I feel so bad. answering
It
this question.
depends.
No.
It
Now,
depends.
okay, let me answer this.
It depends.
I do not prefer,
Mhm.
but I have indulged.
It depends.
I don't. What's the negative? On
It depends on
I
how
mean,
the-
I know there's negatives, but like,
I think it depends.
how the
If
cut
I
is.
think so,
I would say, yeah. And the hygiene.
is really.
Hygiene.
If you're hung,
well, yeah.
it
But
doesn't
if you're hooking, I
bother.
would assume
Yeah.
if you're hooking up with someone
Mhm.
that they have the hygiene
Yeah.
together.
Public play.
Oh,
What-
for sure.
No, the OnlyFans girls have turned me off putting cucumbers in their asshole at the
I'm
grocery
saying-
store. Like absolutely
Sucking
not.
toes.
But like a parking garage moment.
You can suck mine.
You suck toes?
Yeah, I got a little trick.
You-
Stick your tongue out.
Gags. It's not about the length.
Oh!
It's about doing it.
I'll do it. I do it. It
Yeah.
depends. But you,
Absolutely.
I always
Just
get
put
mine
your fucking
sucked, so
feet near
it
me.
depends.
I
always
like
get
to
mine
gag.
sucked.
I like to gag the tops. They always think they got like the
Yeah,
surprises, the
that's
tricks.
shocking.
It's like, bitch, watch
You a
this.
lesbian. Donna.
She's a lesbian. She's a lesbian. Sending nudes.
I have like so many.
Yeah.
I have
I mean,
so
here's the thing. I always said if I take a nude, I know I'm risking if it ever got out.
Yeah.
At least it's fire.
I like nudes.
Ass eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, for me, I always get my ass ate, so it depends if I'm
Same.
gonna do it. It depends.
I will do it if I'm in the mood to.
if I'm in the mood.
12-inch penis.
That's fun. For a one-time ride.
I mean, I've had it. It's okay.
You got to do the theme parks every
Yeah,
once
you
in a
have-
while.
You don't like big dick, so
Mm-mm.
put your red down.
You just got to relax.
Are y'all like girth over length or length over girth?
I like both.
Combo.
Yeah. I like both.
combination.
Why do I
Combo.
have to Why would you put two bad bitches against each other?
I don't really want a long dick. Like it hurt. Like
No, but
it's
that
like
girth
in there.
will get you. That stretch of
Okay, y'all. Woo,
that's
woo.
yeah.
That's a wrap.
So we got to wrap up. But what I want, final words.
Mhm.
What advice would you give
Yes, dating
to
tips. Yeah.
the younger generation that may be offended by the term "no fats, no
Yeah.
femmes"?
I'll let you go first.
I think honestly, this generation, which I'm very happy and excited about, they are so like they know who they are in
Yes.
ways that we
Mhm.
never really did growing up. They have
Mhm.
more access to things. And so for me, it's like, I feel like the girls that know,
Yeah.
but also the girls who don't. Surround yourself with community
Yeah.
of folks that like, for me, I've always loved hanging out with like
Yeah.
fat bodies. Like, or, like, people
I
who
think
are fat.
confidence inspires confidence.
Period.
Yeah.
Like always have
Of
that
all
confidence.
sizes.
Of
Yeah,
all
of
sizes.
all sizes.
Yeah.
Have the confidence. Don't let anybody
What
rock
about
you.
I would say to be mindful that your body is your own and no one has any ownership over that, no matter what size you are.
Period.
And if you want to make healthy decisions for yourself, do it for yourself and yourself only.
I love that. I love that.
Otherwise, live your life, baby.
Do y'all have any 2025 dating affirmations for yourself?
Yeah, I wanna date someone monogamously.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Where can we find you?
what
on
about you,
socials?
Nathan?
Oh yeah, okay. Any affirmations? Let's see. I want y'all to be confident in yourselves before you decide that you want to date someone. I think how people show up in the world is really more attractive than you going out and trying to inspire yourself to find a man and him bringing confidence in you.
Yeah.
So look to yourself, baby.
Period.
What is your affirmation for you?
I don't have affirmation. I'm a bad bitch.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Right. I think my dating affirmation for 2025 is just to continue to enjoy
Mhm.
dating. And if somebody comes along, allow them the opportunity to get to know me in a different light.
Love that. Love it.
Yeah, I think similar. I think it's like being open to whatever experiences come forth. And if it naturally, organically happens, don't second guess it. Let it be.
Where can we
That's
find
good.
you guys on socials quickly?
You can find me on Vance Gamble, VanceGamble.
And you can find me at the SlayGawd, TheSlaygawd.
Thank you guys.
Yes. Well, thank you, daters, thank y'all for coming on our first episode of 2025.
Woo.
Happy New Year, daters.
Happy
And make
New
sure y'all
Year.
like, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
And
Thank
until
you
next
to our
time,
beautiful
y'all.
guests. Love
thank y'all.
y'all.
Bye, y'all.